She tried to get him arrested in the airport. And the only reason she didn't get him arrested, because when you're in the airport, everything's under surveillance.
If it was Christian, I believe that's the young man's name, that was on camera assaulting Sha'Carri and pushing her.
He lied about a couple things that's personally, just in a relationship. I pretty much officers can understand what a relationship is about, but he lied. He's a liar. Okay. And that was something that I kind of just grasped, and emotionally, I'm just like, bet you do your thing, but...
Christian Coleman's mom just blew this drama wide open. She straight up ran up on Sha'Carri after that airport brawl, and let me tell you, it was fireworks from the jump. Once that raw footage of Christian and Sha'Carri's messy throwdown went viral, Dr. Daphne Coleman had seen enough. That clip didn't just show chaos, it showed her worst fear. Her son trapped in a toxic, maybe even dangerous relationship he can't break free from. Now everyone's asking the same thing. Did Dr. Coleman cross the line, or was she finally stepping up to save her son? And if you know Dr. Daphne Coleman, you already know she don't play about Christian. She's never been the type to sit back while somebody puts hands on her boy. Not now, not ever. So when word spread that she confronted Sha'Carri face-to-face, nobody was surprised she pulled up locked and ready for battle. But here's where it gets wild. This wasn't some shaky mom asking for an explanation. Nope. Dr. Coleman came in like a storm, eyes blazing, words slicing sharper than a blade, zero time for excuses. She wasn't there to talk things out. She came to send a clear message. You don't lay a finger on her son, period. This wasn't a casual check-in. This was a full-blown rescue mission. According to people close to Sha'Carri's camp who saw it all go down, Dr. Coleman pulled up to that house like she was about to rip the roof clean off. And Sha'Carri? Oh, she didn't fold. She stood her ground, face to face with Christian's mom, ready for the smoke. Witnesses swear these two women were squared up like a street showdown, face to face, both locked in like one wrong word was about to set it all off. For 3 long minutes, they didn't flinch, just throwing sharp words, icy glares, and building tension so heavy you could slice it with a blade. Folks around them said they were holding their breath, waiting for fists to fly. But somehow, someway, nobody walked out with bruises that day. But here's the part that shook everybody the hardest. It wasn't just the threats, and it wasn't even Dr. Coleman warning Sha'Carri she'd call the cops if she ever touched Christian again. No. The real dagger came when she stared Sha'Carri dead in the eye and said, I always knew you were bad news. From the second Christian got tied up with you, you just proved me right. Whew, that one cut deep. Now the streets can't stop buzzing. Were the red flags always there? Did Christian's mom see the storm coming but stay quiet just to keep the peace? And just how messy does this rabbit hole go? Because let's not forget, back in 2023, these two were being hyped up as relationship goals. And now, look where it's landed them. On the surface, Christian and Sha'Carri looked like the ultimate sports power couple. But not everybody was clapping behind the scenes. And leading that silent crowd of skeptics was none other than Christian's mom, Dr. Daphne Coleman. To keep it real, Daphne didn't start off hating Sha'Carri or plotting to split them up. But even in the early days, she couldn't help side-eyeing the whole thing, because those red flags were waving loud and clear. From the jump, Daphne couldn't ignore how completely opposite these two were. Sha'Carri was loud, fiery, and bursting with energy, sometimes way too much. Christian, meanwhile, was the laid-back type. Quiet, disciplined, the kind of dude who never even broke curfew growing up. And this wasn't just a mom bragging on her boy. Everybody who knew him said the same thing. Christian was the good kid. So when he linked up with Sha'Carri, those differences didn't just show. They screamed trouble in Daphne's eyes. But it wasn't just the clash of personalities that had her uneasy. According to folks close to the family, Daphne started clocking little patterns that told a bigger story. Like Christian suddenly not being able to pull up unless Sha'Carri gave the green light. Or family dinners getting canceled last minute because Sha'Carri needed him. To Daphne, this didn't look like bad timing. It looked like control. And once that seed was planted in her head, she allegedly started believing Sha'Carri wasn't just the wrong match. She might actually be dangerous for her son. And it kept piling up. Daphne noticed how Christian would snap into defense mode the second anyone criticized Sha'Carri.
Situation all around. Like, I don't feel as if, like, she should have been arrested. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know, people have discussions and emotions and stuff like that. And she have, like, things that she need to work on for herself, of course. And so do I, so do you, like, everybody. And I'm the type of guy, like, I'm in the business of just, like, extending grace and mercy and love. And I feel as if, like, I don't try to look at obstacles either. Like, I just look at, like, situations like this to just, like, you know, take a step back, analyze yourself mentally, and then just try to see what you could do to be your best self so that you can move forward, so you can just be the type of person and a human that God needs you to be for his kingdom and for his glory. And so that's kind of how I look at the situation.
You hear me, right? So this is the position that Christian Coleman put me into, okay? Because he's a coward, and I don't want anything to do with him at this point going forward. My name is Sha'Carri Richardson. Have no problem with letting you know who I am. Haven't put my hands on him. We had an argument. I will be honest about that. An argument, and that's pretty much it. The argument, pretty much, he's a liar. He lied about a couple things that's personally, you know, just in a relationship. I pretty much, officers can understand what a relationship is about, but he lied. He's a liar, and that was something that I kind of just grasped, and emotionally, I'm just like, bet you do your thing, but you're asking me for things that is within my possession, and for my right, I don't have to give it to you because it's in my position. But when it comes to the point that I saw that he chose to make it more about the police and things of that nature, that showed that he made a choice. So I just want to be more professional and just come professionally and let you guys know, like, hey, relationship thing, have no problem,
so
and walking up to you guys.
It's not illegal to argue.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Was there any type of physical?
I didn't touch him. He didn't touch me. I will be honest.
Hit him with anything?
No, I haven't hit him with anything.
Like that?
Not at
And this wasn't the usual I'm standing up for my girl type vibe. No, his reactions were sharp, almost nervous, like he was protecting her out of fear instead of love. Then came the part that really rattled her. Those random calls where she'd dial her own son's number, but instead of hearing Christian's voice, it'd be Sha'Carri answering and shutting down the conversation. Imagine that, a mother calling her child, only to be blocked by the girlfriend, refusing to let him talk. Stack that on top of all the other shady signs, and what you get is one massive, flashing red flag. But here's the kicker. Daphne wasn't the only one spotting the cracks in this so-called love story. Friends, siblings, even teammates had already been whispering about the strange power dynamic between Christian and Sha'Carri. And then came that post, the one that blew up months ago after nearly half of Team USA athletes reposted it. It said, "You'll be so much happier when you accept that sometimes people aren't right for us, no matter how badly we wanted them to be." Now, on the surface, it looked like just another cheesy motivational quote. But the streets didn't buy that. The timing was way too perfect. People saw it as a direct shot at Christian's relationship. At first, that viral post slid by like harmless inspiration. But looking back now, the fact that so many of Christian's teammates reposted it feels way too calculated. It wasn't about the words, it was a coded message aimed straight at him. Sadly, Christian either didn't catch it or chose to ignore it. Because when that raw, uncut footage of his airport blow-up with Sha'Carri dropped online, one thing snapped into focus. This wasn't some random fight. This had been brewing. And the fight itself? Nobody even knows what triggered it. But the second that unedited clip hit the net, people realized they were watching way more than just a couple arguing. It was confirmation. Confirmation of everything Daphne had been warning about for months. And the detail that rattled fans most wasn't Sha'Carri yelling or shoving. It was Christian's body language, the way he barely reacted, the way he just tried to walk off while she kept pressing him. That wasn't shock. That was muscle memory, the look of someone who's been in that same situation too many times before. And that's when the whole facade came crashing down. Up to that point, Sha'Carri had been working overtime to spin the narrative, playing the victim, even trying to throw Christian under the bus after her arrest by brushing it off as just a normal couple spat. But once the raw, uncut police cam footage dropped, boom, mask off. In the middle of being cuffed, she turned on Christian, spitting out names, snapping that he was a coward for letting her get arrested and not stepping in to save her. That flip exposed a whole other side of her, and the internet hasn't let it go since. And wild as that was, it still wasn't the worst part. Sha'Carri didn't just stop at lashing out. She went full victim mode and straight up tried flipping the script. She actually claimed Christian was the one who put hands on her. The audacity had people shook. But the second the footage rolled back and proved she was lying, her whole act crumbled. All that yelling, cursing, and finger-pointing? Gone. She went stone-cold silent, like none of it had ever happened. But here's the twist that blew people's minds. It wasn't her silence, it was Christian's response. Instead of standing tall and calling out what the world had just witnessed, he jumped up as her defender. Like, what? After everybody watched her shove him, humiliate him, and turn on him in public, Christian sat down in an interview talking about how Sha'Carri just needs help, how she deserves grace, and how she shouldn't have to face the full fallout for her actions. Fans were floored. Nobody could believe it. And if the crowd was frustrated, imagine Daphne's rage watching that clip. For her, this was the breaking point. It wasn't just the pain of hearing her son protect someone who'd gone against him. It was the way he looked while doing it. Drained, smaller, almost like a man who had given up chunks of himself just to shield her. For Daphne, that was the final straw. She couldn't keep quiet anymore. Something had to change, and fast. The second that interview hit the air, fans spotted the red flags immediately. Christian couldn't even keep his eyes on the camera, not once. And it wasn't just his words, it was the way he looked while saying them. That clip didn't show a man confidently defending his relationship. It showed someone folding in on himself. Every line sounding forced, rehearsed, like he was speaking with fear sitting on his chest. And let's be real, Daphne wasn't the only one clocking it. Social media lit up in seconds. Fans were calling out exactly what she had seen. Christian wasn't steering this relationship anymore. Sha'Carri was behind the wheel. Some even hit him with warnings straight up. If she hit you once in public, she'll do it again. Next time, you'll just be her punching bag. Others reminded everyone of the coldest part. She had already sold him out to the cops, blaming him as the aggressor to save herself. Yet here he was, still defending her like nothing happened. But then came the chilling twist. Daphne didn't even have time to react to her son's drained body language and blind loyalty before another bombshell dropped. Out of nowhere, Sha'Carri decided to release her so-called apology video. And let's just say it was anything but apologetic. Now here's the real kicker. You'd think that after being caught on camera putting hands on her boyfriend, then flipping the script and playing the victim, Sha'Carri would use this video to set things straight.
And more than anything, definitely a lot of self-reflection, a lot of understanding of not only putting myself in a compromised situation, but somebody that I have a deep care and appreciation for as well is something that holding myself accountable. I see myself, I'm taking this time to not only see myself, but get myself a certain level of help that overall is going to reflect who I truly am in my heart and my spirit, and not allowing this moment.
Fans expected remorse. Christian's mom expected accountability. At the bare minimum, people thought she'd show some kind of respect for the mess she created. But nope, that's not what went down. Instead of dropping a heartfelt apology, Sha'Carri put out a 1-minute clip that fans instantly called a straight-up slap in the face. She claimed she was taking accountability and doing some self-reflection, but her delivery told a whole different story. Instead of sitting down serious, she sat there grinning, smiling her way through an apology that was supposed to be raw and real, almost like the whole thing was a joke to her. And that tiny minute on camera spoke louder than anything she said. Fans didn't see remorse. They saw someone brushing it off, acting unbothered, and refusing to take real responsibility. One viewer nailed it with the comment, "That smirk told us more than her words ever did." Ouch. Sha'Carri's own words sealed the deal. Definitely a lot of self-reflection, a lot of understanding of not only putting myself in a compromised situation, but somebody that I have a deep care and appreciation for, as well as holding myself accountable. But the delivery? All smiles, all lighthearted, zero weight behind it. For Christian's family, that grin wasn't just disrespect, it was the final insult. And it didn't stop there. In her so-called apology, Sha'Carri added, I'm taking this time to not only see myself, but get myself the help that will overall reflect who I truly am in my heart and my spirit, and not allowing this moment. But instead of cooling things down, her words lit the fire higher. The more she talked, the angrier people got, convinced she was mocking the whole situation instead of owning it. As if that cringe video wasn't already bad enough, Sha'Carri decided to double down with another so-called apology. This time on her Instagram stories directed straight at Christian. And that's when things really hit a nerve. The post read, "I apologize to Christian. He came into my life and gave me more than a relationship, but a greater understanding of unconditional love from what I've experienced in my past. Due to my past trauma and pain, I was blind and blocked off to not only receive it, but give it." Then came the line that split the internet in two. "I love him, and to him." That tiny sentence set off a storm. Some said it was manipulative, a guilt trip designed to keep Christian tied down. Others swore it sounded more like a performance than a real apology. Either way, instead of fixing the damage, that post made the mess 10 times worse. And for Christian's mom, it was the final confirmation that Sha'Carri wasn't taking real accountability. She kept going, wrapping it up with, "I can't apologize enough. My apology should be just as loud as my actions. Honestly, louder. To Christian, I love you, and I am so sorry." But just like the video, her post reeked of insincerity. Fans weren't buying it for a second. One wrote, "That Sha'Carri apology video is the most unserious thing I've seen in a minute. Pure PR nonsense." Another clowned it, saying, "What kind of half-pathetic excuse for an apology is this?" The dragging was brutal, and it didn't let up. And if Daphne was already heated before, these weak apologies sent her completely over the edge. She pulled her son aside, warning him point blank to walk away before it was too late. But she didn't stop there. Oh no, she took it public. Daphne reposted a string of IG stories, including one that read, "No matter how good you think it is, there's always better out there. Choose yourself." That was her shot fired. Her clear, loud message that she was done biting her tongue. With that, Dr. Coleman went from whispering warnings in private to blasting cryptic shots for the whole world to see. And Christian, he disappeared. No posts, no statements, no defense. Just gone. The only clue was a one-way flight out of the country. His silence? Loud enough to shake everybody. Meanwhile, Sha'Carri, the same woman who never stopped talking, posting, or racing, suddenly ghosted too. No cameras, no IG stories, no competitions, nothing but silence. And now the question hanging in the air is simple. Is this saga finally over? Or is the storm about to explode even worse? Because here's what's got everybody frozen. If Christian's really done with Sha'Carri, then why is he still defending her? If Daphne's right and this wasn't the first time, then how many times has it gone down in private with no cameras catching it? And the biggest question of all, if Sha'Carri's silence means she's plotting her next move, what's she cooking up when the entire world is already against her? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Is Christian trapped, or is Sha'Carri about to flip the script in a way nobody sees coming? Smash that like button, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe, because the next chapter in this saga, you do not want to miss it. See you on the next one.